The MCU makes superstars out of its heroes and actors, but not everyone stays at the top. Here are some Marvel actors who ruined their careers overnight. Starting with the obvious choice, Jonathan Majors. Majors was once the next big thing in the Marvel universe, but now he's being written out of existence. The actor was found guilty in a court of law after an ex-girlfriend of his revealed he was not very nice to her. This led to him losing not just his role in the MCU, but also multiple other projects he was signed on for. Now the actor has almost nothing going on other than dealing with the aftermath of the trial. He avoided jail time but must complete a 52-week in-person intervention program, or he risks spending 1 year in prison. He claims he one day wants to return to Hollywood. However, that might be tough when you've lost so much public favor already. He has filmed one movie that has recently set its release date. With the way things are going over at Marvel right now though, he likely won't be returning for anything there. He technically already played one character, and sure, that character has a lot of variants of themselves, so maybe one day he could return as a variant, but it's super unlikely. The Marvel media he was in were Loki and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. One of those was received well, and it was not Ant-Man. Unfortunately, Majors was a bigger deal in Ant-Man. He was the main villain in that movie, as opposed to his role as a side character in Loki. In Ant-Man 3, his powerful character was defeated by a bunch of big ants, which isn't a good look for the evil guy who was supposed to give the Avengers a hard time. I know he was technically a version of the villain that was still new to being Kang, but it's still embarrassing. Fans didn't love the movie, even though many agree Majors was a highlight. Up next, the Green Guy of 2008, Edward Norton. Edward Norton's gained a reputation for being difficult on that set. The Incredible Hulk production is famous for being littered with drama. Writer of The Incredible Hulk, Zach Penn, shared in his book that Norton apparently kind of took control creatively of the screenplay and would frequently make changes. Some minor, like the names of small characters; other changes were bigger, like the ending. Penn claims the ending was written as Ross throwing Banner from the helicopter, but Norton apparently changed that to Banner intentionally jumping out of that copter. Might not seem like a big deal, but Banner was going to land in a civilian area in Brooklyn. Having him choose to jump out instead of being pushed puts any potential casualties on his shoulders, which is not very heroic of him. Norton was allegedly so hard to work with that Feige doesn't want to work with him again. After The Incredible Hulk was done, Feige did release a statement to let people know that the Hulk would be recast. The reason given was that Marvel was looking for someone who would be more collaborative. We all know who fit that description in the end: Mark Ruffalo. TJ Miller is known for his role as Weasel in the first 2 Deadpool installments, or being the voice of Tough Nut from How to Train Your Dragon, whatever your niche is. With Deadpool being technically added to the MCU canon, Miller is kind of Marvel adjacent now, but you might have noticed that he wasn't in Deadpool and Wolverine, not even a little bit. That's because it came out that he was not a very good person. Shortly after filming for Deadpool 2 wrapped, a former romantic partner of Miller's came forward to accuse him of acting violently towards her. The actor insists that the accusations are not true, but following the accusations, Miller was dropped from his role in the How to Train Your Dragon animated franchise. There are other controversies Miller has found himself in that are even wilder, like when he called in an explosive threat on a New York Amtrak train. In reality, there were no explosives on board, not even close. Charges against him for that incident were dismissed, but he had to pay back what it would have cost for law enforcement to get to and take care of that situation. According to an attendant on the train, Miller called in the fake threat because he had a disagreement with a woman in the first class car, so he did it to like spite her, I guess. The next batch of drama has to do with Miller's on-set relationship with Deadpool co-star Ryan Reynolds. Miller was featured on the Adam Carolla Show podcast, and he claimed that Reynolds hates him. He backed this up, saying the actor was horrifically mean to him as the character. According to Miller, the first movie was fine, they actually got on quite well, but that was because Ryan wasn't a big movie star. But when his big break came along, that big break being Deadpool, Ryan's whole attitude must have changed. Miller went on to call Ryan insecure and said he wouldn't do the 3rd movie even if they paid him double. Later, Miller went back on many of these claims and said that it was all a misunderstanding and that he and Ryan are good now, but we still probably won't be seeing him in anything soon. Terrence Howard played Rhodey in the first Iron Man movie, but did not return for anything else. The widely reported reason was that Marvel and Howard couldn't come to an agreement when it came to the actor's compensation. However, being on this list implies something else was afoot. There have been rumors circulating that the actor was difficult to work with, and that Marvel high-ups weren't thrilled with his performance, leading to reshoots. Allegedly, that's why the role role was recast. Terrence went on to act in the popular Fox show Empire, but since that ended in 2020, we haven't really seen him on the big or small screen as much, but you probably have seen him in the headlines. The actor has been making some interesting claims lately, like 1 × 1 is 2, or that he and a business partner could build Saturn without gravity, or that he's just going to eliminate gravity. Many of these comments come from his episode on the Joe Rogan Experience. One ex-user summed up the feeling of watching said episode very well, writing, "Terrence Howard is either having a mental break or he's the smartest man alive and I'm too dumb to know which." But yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing him in Marvel anything again. The role of Fandral in the MCU must be cursed because it went through like 3 actors and 2 of them have been cancelled. The first actor to land the role was Zachary Levi. He left the role simply due to scheduling conflicts as he was already working on the TV show Chuck. So there was no bad blood when he left. It was comments that Levi made in later years that has led to the actor getting half cancelled. Levi has just said a lot of stuff. You kind of wonder what side the guy is on, or if he's just so firmly in the middle of conflicts he might as well be the line. He made so many controversial comments that director James Gunn was actually asked to weigh in during a press conference. Gunn had said, "Just real simply, actors and filmmakers that I work with are going to say things that I agree with and things that I don't agree with. I can't be changing my plans all the time because an actor says something that I don't agree with." The subject then shifted. Levi is a well-known actor, but I guess he wasn't big enough to cause like real waves, so he's only partially cancelled because not many people heard about what he did wrong in the first place. And despite producing excellent Marvel movies, actor and director Joss Whedon likely won't be working with the studio anymore. He directed the first 2 Avengers films, but the second was a lot harder to make. Allegedly, Marvel and the director didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. He claims things got really unpleasant between him and the studio, so already that relationship isn't doing great anymore. But another factor working against him is that former co-workers of his have come forward accusing Joss of being casually cruel. Actors Ray Fisher and Gal Gadot, who worked with Joss on DC films, accused the man of being gross, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. From the Buffy days, actress Charisma Carpenter came forward with claims that Joss mocked her body and her lifestyle and fired her after accusing her of trying to sabotage the show after she had given birth. It's unlikely that we'll be seeing Marvel work with him in the future. The second Fandral actor to get cancelled was Irish actor Stuart Townsend. When Levi left the role, Townsend was cast, but then he left due to creative differences. At least, that was the official reason. The unofficial, rumored reason was that he was difficult to work with. Josh Dallas got the role in the end. Stuart almost made it though. This is actually the second time something like this happened with him. He was originally cast in the role of Aragorn, did the months of training for the role, but ended up getting fired the day before. Allegedly, also because he was difficult to work with. Neither side has outright said that, but Townsend did say that he was relieved to be let go and that he had no good feelings for the people in charge, so people kind of inferred from there. That's why the guy pretty much disappeared from Hollywood. But the reason he will probably never get back in is because in 2019, the actor was arrested for being physically rough with his wife. When police arrived at the couple's home and separated the couple, Townsend warned his wife not to say anything, but she complained of pain. The actor was released after posting a $50,000 bail. Christian Bale joined the MCU as Gore for Thor: Love and Thunder. He's known for a variety of films and generally being one of the best actors in Hollywood, but one on-set meltdown nearly destroyed his whole career, and it certainly had a negative effect on the reception of the movie when it released. Let's set the scene. Bale is working on Terminator Salvation, or T4. He's in the middle of a scene and the cinematographer walks into the background of the shot right across Bale's sightline. This literally causes Bale to explode. Audio of his meltdown was released and it quickly spread to every inch of the internet.
I want you off the f***ing set, you prick! Think for 1 f***ing second. The f*** are you doing?
The rant had more of an effect on the movie than it actually did on Bale's career. People weren't pleased with how Bale treated the cinematographer, but for the most part, it was just the movie that flopped. People were already on the fence about T4. The rant only made people want to see it less. Bale went on to star in the final installment of the Dark Knight trilogy a few years after that, and the on-set rant kind of just turned into a minor hiccup in the actor's journey and a fun fact that you would hear about in a video like this. But what do you think? Let us know. Bye!